Hi everyone, welcome back to Transformation Tuesday. We're speaking again with Roger from Recover Your Heart. Today we are exploring courage, which is really going to be super fun and interesting considering the time that we are in and when we can tap into that through our heart connection and where that can lead us. Yay, Roger. Roger's coming on now. Hey, hello.
Hello, Margie.
Hi,
Can you
how
hear
are
me?
you? Yes, sir.
Pretty good.
You seem far away today.
I am. I'm in Florida.
Well, I mean like far away from the phone.
Okay, I need to be closer.
Yes, you do. I like
Still
seeing
getting
that
used to
smiling
all of
face.
this. Okay,
I want to see that smiling face.
is that better?
Yes. Welcome
So
everyone.
you're doing
Thank you for
well?
coming. I'm doing great, thank you. Yeah, how about
Yeah,
you? Yeah.
I'm pretty good. Yes,
Yeah, it's been a busy week, but good, you know.
very busy energetically.
Yay, and better on this end too. We have a couple comments on there. Thank you for showing up every week. I hope it's okay if I say Andrea and love you. Andrea does our new moon and full moon videos with us, and it's really great to have her here. Feel free if any of you have any questions or comments at any time, even if we've skipped over where you're at. Or where we're at, just share anytime. That would be great.
Yes, and today we're going to talk a little bit about courage.
Yeah.
And how that can play a huge part in where we're going in life. This kind of thing help us grow. So any questions about that are very welcome.
Well, I'm going to ask you one right now. What does courage mean to you?
To me, it's a place I find within me that allows me to stand with any perhaps uncomfortable feelings that I may have coming up within me, and just to move through those, right?
Yeah. Yes.
This is where it, and I use it, yes, it's been a very significant thing in my life. My entire life has had to do with expansion. So I have a lot of practice.
Yeah, and exploring courage, because it takes courage, one, to want to know thyself and our patterns, right? It
Right.
takes courage to go into those places of ourself that we think are bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're not. It just takes a little bit of courage to just know ourselves, and sometimes even just to walk in this world.
Yes, and also to move into places that are unknown to us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That can be very terrifying. A lot of things we don't want to cross through because of what may lie on the other side. What we may have to go there without. What we'll end up being.
Yeah.
Once we move beyond things, so this can be
it takes courage. It takes courage to go into the unfamiliar and want to expand. You know, I think some of us, the hardest part for us is finding the courage to know our own power and walk in that.
Explore it, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can go back to childhood and perhaps connect with some energies back there, though. Mm-hmm. I remember myself wanting to explore all the time and always taking risks and this kind of thing, but to find out what's beyond, you know what I mean? To find out how far we can go, what we are, how powerful we are, what our limitations are, but then messages we get and all, we begin to shut ourselves down and then start to externalize a lot. We give all our power away, and then we start to restrict ourselves and stop ourselves from being part of life, actually. So it's very important to tap into it again, be willing to explore it so we can experience life fully as we're meant to.
I saw a meme today that was, it was kind of cute. It was, it's authentic spiritual awakening is, and it was a picture of Wile E. Coyote going off the cliff. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love those cartoons.
Yeah, me too.
Some of my favorites. Yeah, a lot of adventure there and exploration.
Yeah. Yeah.
very cool. So
It was perfect for today.
yeah.
So, Roger, I know
Um,
you were up into the wee hours of the morning last night, and I'd like you to share what you wrote, if you don't mind.
yeah, this is really cool. I had some of you might know I started doing some like spiritual poetry, short writings, inspirational stuff a few months back. And it comes to me almost on demand now. Yeah, sometimes in the shower, but when I request something or think about it's been a while since I've done a writing, some information will come in. So yesterday I had a conversation with my higher self and asked for some guidance for this Instagram live, and the writing started coming in. I got the base of it at work yesterday. And then I was listening to some music last night, and it just opened my heart right up. And it put me back into the energies that were coming in for the writing. And then I knew that I had to finish it because it has to do with courage.
Yeah.
So I was up until I finished about midnight last night. And by the time I unwound and stuff, it was after that. And this has been one of the most powerful writings that has come to me. And it's like developing another energetic modality, right?
Yeah.
For a session. But when I do these writings, I have to go through all the energetic processes that are involved in them. So that is into the writing. So when a person reads it, it's like coded and such, right? So I had to go through all of the emotions.
Roger,
Yeah.
someone wrote something. I'm sorry to interrupt before, but someone else wrote something. Would you mind taking a peek?
Andrea's?
No, no, no. Oh, it is Andrea. Yes. Sorry, I didn't see her name.
When we're young?
Yes.
Yes. When we're a bit older, it's
When we're young, it's
risk.
yeah.
Yes. That's very true. And when we're young, we're also not restricted by our own mind yet.
Yeah.
The beliefs that we've listened to or come to learn about ourselves or come to believe about ourselves that stop us. Yeah. We look then at the dangers and
or other people's limitations that they've
yeah.
Right? Yeah. Andrea, that was beautiful. Thank you.
We go into the externalization as well, and then we start to watch what other people believe about us, think about us, perhaps, so we really shut ourselves down, begin to limit ourselves.
So when that happens, touching back to something you said just a few minutes ago about giving our power away, and that's part of that, right? You know, like that externalization of that with what other people think and us not staying connected to ourselves is giving like pieces of ourselves to somebody else and letting them kind of like pull on that, right? With us, it kind of triggers us to go into a different space.
Yeah, you look at judgment, for example, fear of judgment. If we give the other power that, or the other people that power, that what they think of us affects us energetically, or what we think of ourselves, that's totally giving your power away to an external source.
Yeah.
So through the energy work and all, we learn to pull all our own stuff back, heal all those little traumatic events where somebody may have cut us down, or heartbreak and all these kinds of things. We learn to bring that all back to ourselves, and through increasing self-love, which is also done through the energy work, we let go of all of those things, all the needs for the external.
I actually shared with someone today, and I don't know if you've done a process like this before, but I've done it many, many years ago, where I visualized the person in front of me where I felt there was a pull or a trigger with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And through my heart in love and with courage, because in some of the cases it was a little bit challenging, basically asked for my stuff back, right? And also in return gave their stuff back to them, because we do feed on them as well, right?
Yes, it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
And of course, in my own beliefs, none of what we go through in life is accidental, including people that come in and may provide us with a traumatic experience. I believe there's a purpose to it all. So being grateful for what that person has brought to us, the part they played in our life, perhaps what we've learned from them, right?
Right. What we've learned from them.
Releasing it with gratitude and just making choice to move on. And yes, very important.
Make the choice to move on, get your stuff back, right? Like it's claiming, that takes courage to do that, even if it's feels like, you know, we're envisioning the person in front of us, the energy is there. It's a very powerful way to start your stance, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it also just teaches us in our energy system that we're owning our stuff. We want to own our stuff and be responsible for it. And we want to take courage and strength to get all the pieces of ourselves back together, right?
Yeah, I mean, it takes two people for any interaction, right? So, yeah, but at some level, we have a part in it as well.
That's right.
The other party is not always fully responsible for everything. No. We're not there by accident.
Yeah.
Again.
And just because we're growing and showing signs of strength doesn't mean that they're going to grow on the same path with us, you know?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, we're on the same path when we come together, but then, you know, we have other ways to go, often in a lot of cases. So, but yeah, when we go through these processes, you'll feel yourself become more whole, typically. And a part of yourself will release, a part of yourself will go through a forgiveness process, perhaps. So we become more whole through this, right? And this all builds. The more we bring our power back to us, the more courage we find to keep moving forward.
Yes.
Because it's an inner thing, right? The courage doesn't come from somebody else prompting us. I mean, people can pump you all day long to do this or that, tell you have everything you need to do it, but you have to tap into it within yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
you have to hit the Instagram live. I can say, Roger, come meet me on Instagram, but unless you're hitting the Instagram live button, it won't matter. I can't make you show up.
This is amazing. Yes. I don't know if everybody knows that story, but it was a couple months back, Margie.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And you were doing your first Instagram live, weren't you?
It was, yeah. In a random Starbucks in a grocery store.
Yeah. So the other person that Margie was going to do the Instagram live with had some technical issues and wasn't able to get on. Well, I was brand new to Instagram, set everything up. I just get done with work and I walk out in the parking lot behind work and I connect in, and Margie is talking for a little while and mentioning the other person was having issues. And then she says, Roger, you want to join in live? And so a shot of fear, you got to remember here, I've always been a loner, like to hide. So a quick shot of fear popped up, but I hit the button and came on, and that like opened things up for me. So that was very cool at the start of, you know, it was an instant shot of courage right there just to move through that fear. And what happened beyond that, it opened up something to me and I loved it. Yeah. So it opened up a whole new world to me. And this is an example, you know, life is always asking us to expand. It's like trees or plants. They never stop growing until they're finished. So I think we have that desire, you know, that drive within us to be all we can be as well. But if we hide behind, you know, our fears and such,
then it just can take us a little bit longer. Yeah, and you're right. Divine opportunity, and it's available to us all the time. And sometimes, isn't there the story of the person in the boat waiting to be saved, right? And then people come to save them, and they're like, no, it's okay. Someone's coming to save me. It's someone else. It's like, no, I sent these people to you. You just weren't paying attention, right? And we always get the opportunities. It's whether we choose to trust in that and have the courage to roll with it and hit the live button.
Yeah, Margie, you'll have to keep an eye on the postings because it's locked on my end. I only see Andrea's first one and nothing's moving to me.
Okay.
So yes, it's often a matter of the courage is often most easily maintained if we don't let the mind start getting in the way and shut ourselves down. You know what I'm saying? Because the mind will take us, spiral us into the slower frequencies, the fear and all this kind of thing, and just stop us. So oftentimes we have to act very quickly and before we shut ourselves down, right?
Yeah, because then the spiral starts, the fear, and then you feel bad, and then like this whole spiral thing shoots us down.
Yeah, I mean that's the way. This is what the energy work is all about: learning to reconnect to your heart through divine or Tao, God, higher power, whatever you want to call it, through your heart center, and maintaining that, right? So at first it can be difficult when the ego still is at its most powerful, because thought will come in, a negative thought perhaps, and we'll pick it, we'll latch onto that, and then we'll reinforce it, and then the emotions start coming in, and this will block us and shut us off from our heart. So what we learn to do is lessen the power. Well, the energy work discharges the power from those things, so we don't have to follow them out. But this is also the point there. Before you let that happen is where you a lot of times need to take some action. So,
all right, so let's get to your reading. I want to hear it.
Okay. All right. Take a deep breath.
And you guys, all of you watching, listen to the words, but also feel into the energy behind the words and see if you can feel it and where you feel it in your body. Is that okay, Roger?
Yes, exactly. This is really the way to do this thing. And for anybody that's coming on since we started, this is just a small writing that I've started doing these things a few months ago. So I'm going to read the one that came in yesterday related to this session. I've lived much of my life behind walls of my own, never wanting to be seen, heard, or known. An ache in my heart, though, I want to be free, couldn't always be kept hidden, at least not for me. I didn't have what it took, it seemed, to let myself be. The walls I had built would just have to stay. I've since found from within the courage to walk my way through. Much I had held, just had to let go. There's freedom in life now, and the want, I believe, was divine calling. The love that I am, just wanting to be. The way has been cleared now. The beauty brings often a tear, as I look upon the love that we are in the eyes of another. So this still kicks up emotion in me. This is, there's a lot of, the energies are supporting a lot of early life trauma healing right now. So I think this is why this came up at this point in time. And even though I've processed most of this stuff myself, there may have been little nooks and crannies where I had to revisit. But so do you want to go into a little bit of what it talks about?
Channels, right? Like I chatted with you a little bit earlier about how I've been really working on you're right. The energies are really pushing on these early traumas to come up to heal, not to torture us, but to come us to remind us that we can let them go and love ourselves and be free of that. Because even if we're not paying attention to it, it's still holding us down, right? You know, like
unconscious, very much of it.
Mm-hmm. Holly says, "Beautiful, Roger."
Thank you.
It was really beautiful. And I got tears the first time I read it and was trying to hold them back.
I still do, because this was a very significant part of my life when I was keeping myself shut down from the experience of the living, right?
Yes, yeah. And in that, so you're right that we're seeing that everywhere, where this is coming up to be able to be healed, and it can be uncomfortable at times, especially if you're new to energy work and new to like working on those parts of us that want to be healed. But we are fully supported, and like really fully supported, and there's a beauty and a love being reminded that we can look at those parts and let them go, right? And that does take courage.
Yes, a lot of the trauma, I just had a conversation about this the other night, and one of the important things about very supportive things about trauma is to ground if you feel something coming up, make sure you're grounded very well. Feet on the ground, sitting on the ground against a tree is one of my favorite ways to ground. And then perhaps a meditation or something to focus on the heart. And if you have don't have practice with that and really don't know how to touch your higher power yet, think of something, a beautiful experience in your life so you can bring the warm feeling into your heart, the love. And then, so through that, feeling that within your center and then the grounding, allow things to come forward and they can be much easier to deal with. But there may be a lot of new insights now, things that one of my clients recently had, just in the last week, had an issue where she realized she was blocking, as a youngster through abuse, was using the jaw to shut down the experience that was going on at the time. And she's in her 40s or 50s now. And it just came to her realization in the past week that she still was locking this out from her experience with the jaw. So it started opening up. So it's very beautiful. But, be open to the unexpected.
Yeah, and it can be a bit by bit process. Like I said, I started, I think it was, what did I tell you, last Monday? Yes, it was last Monday, really diving into these more subtle channels in my physical body, which is also connected to me to some of the more subtle bodies with earth and just the energies outside. So it's been a really fascinating week. But even where some of those past traumas have been stored with it, that I knew, like the big pieces, right? I had such a great, incredible realization and release yesterday, Roger, that like opened up so much inside of me and my heart that it was through really just embracing that those things have been there and really wanting to explore to just release them completely.
Yeah. So you went in with willingness. I know you've had the intent set for a long time to explore, as always. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what we do, right? Continue to explore and be open to whatever may be holding us back or restricting us at all. That's very beautiful. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's totally in line with like what you wrote as well, by the way.
Oh, yeah. These things don't come by accident.
No, they don't. Nope. It's just like
And
the
they don't.
divine opportunity that Andrea said, right?
Yes.
It's there really is no coincidence, right?
Right. We just need to learn to pay attention. Yeah, like you talked about before. I think we're getting inspired and guided all the time, but
it's harder to recognize that, one, when we're not in trust, right, or in our heart, but also when we're in those lower frequencies. So when we go into those patterns, right, and we drop down, we almost, it's like we can see it, but we don't feel worthy or something of seeing it.
Yeah, a lot of times you don't feel worthy. A lot of times a lot of it is blocked. And I think a lot of what comes in you see as impossible because of your beliefs, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, this might be a dream that I have or something that I'm being called to do, but it just can't happen, right? It's all based on past and how I see myself. But every subject, every focus that we have in these things, the answer is self-love.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what it all leads us back to, and this is the courage, tapping courage to move through things that are blocking you, lead you as well back to self-love, right?
Yes, it does.
Very, very powerful place, and eventually, although the patterns and such that we have, the energetic patterns, when they were established, we'll carry with us forever, so we may always get triggered as the self-love continues to build. Those become just like an afterthought, or they may just flash through us, and the courage is very little needed after a point. You just trust and you just move through everying.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to see if Andrea will join, like just texting in a little bit. I'm going to ask her as well. When you tap into courage, what does it feel like to you? I know it's something that, like, you know, the Wile E. Coyote going off the cliff, right? The great spirit, the authentic spiritual awakening, um, going into the unknown, right? Um, or the void, as I would say. Where do you feel it in your body, or how does that feel to you, like in your stance? Because I just want to get a couple different ideas of what that might feel like to someone.
Say, for example, I might be experiencing fear throughout my body. When I tap courage, it'll open the fear up and make the fear less significant, right?
Yeah.
It's like, here I am as what I am. I recognize the fear. I feel it here, but it doesn't have power over me anymore. I'm going to walk through it, right?
Yeah.
So it's an opening up within inside. And I mean, I've faced, with courage, I've stood with tremendous fear,
Mm-hmm.
like very powerful.
Yeah.
And you just move through it. But part of my experience since I started in the energy work, I was come to learn, my belief now is that I'm an infinite, eternal soul, you know, an expression of divine source, and I cannot be destroyed or harmed in any way. This has become a very important, like, bedrock for me. And although I've never been real attached to 3D experience, this has made me much more powerful
It
within
definitely
it.
has. I've known you years, and I know that that is true. I will say, I'm going to read what Andrea said. And Andrea, thank you. Thank you for jumping in too. And that I kind of put pressure on you, but you and I, we know each other. It's okay.
Thank you, Andrea.
Yeah. And for Andrea, she says, it feels like a heart expansion. Courage is Leo, the lion. Courage is self-love. To truly know that you are divine. Andrea, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Andrea, do you feel it in your physical body when you tap into that? Because I know what chakras are like a little more present for me when I'm, depending on the experience, I should say, I guess. Um, but it is really, for me, it's like really knowing that we are divine and that we really are these powerful souls walking on this physical plane, and a remembering and a, like, knowing of that, right? But I will definitely, yeah, the heart chakra, I definitely feel it like third through fourth and sometimes fifth if I'm having to have like courage to speak my truth, right? And
To
so
express,
let that,
yes.
right? Yeah.
So that was beautiful what you wrote there, and I think we're describing pretty much the same
It is.
thing, using a little different language.
Yeah, which I
So
like to share in case, you know, because we all sometimes hear things just a little bit differently, like one word or two words could like shift us, right?
yeah, and I like the Leo the lion, right?
I
The
know.
courage, because for a lot of people, the lion is so powerful.
Mhm.
You can imagine those energies within you if you need to.
Yeah,
This is me now. I'm Leo in my heart, right?
yeah.
Things like this can help us a lot, shifting to something that's empowering for us. I like that a lot.
Me
Yeah.
too. I like that a lot. Andrea, beautiful as always. Looking forward to our new moon chat too. Yeah,
Oh yes, that won't be long.
I know. Yeah, April 5th, I think, is the new moon.
So I think I just want to mention briefly that I think that a lot of people are being called now to expand in their lives, and courage is going to be needed for many of us. We're being called basically to fully express and tap into um, our true nature, our true beings, right? So we're going to have to expand, or we're going to be feel pulled to expand, so that we can experience life fully and such. So courage is going to be a
It takes that authentic courage too, not that forceful courage that we think of, right? Sometimes when people think
yeah,
of like aggressive, like that's not courage to me. But I've heard people say that, and I'm like, oh, I don't know that that's courage, but um,
power versus force kind of thing, right? If we
totally, yeah,
continue to bulldoze our way into things without feeling what comes up, That's what we'll probably have to continue to do. We need to learn to stand with what comes up and feel it all.
Even if it's
Right?
hard emotions or things that are really, really struggling for us, we need to like really go in and be able to process that. Or like from my experience in working with people, we manifest something in our life, whether it's disease or really like strong limitations or lack of manifestation, something, because we can't keep holding those things down, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Have we gotten any more questions?
No, not yet. I think we're good, Roger. I think we tapped into all of that. That was excellent. And Andrea, thank you so much for your input and everyone's comments. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah. So have a courageous week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and explore. I always want to, invite people to explore beyond things that you may be allowing to hold you back. Now there may be amazing things waiting for you well beyond what you've ever been able to imagine. This was my own experiences in life, and every step that I take through something that I had let stop me before is just beautiful and opens up so many things.
Yes,
That's why we're here, right? It's like divine, the universe, whatever. It's wanting to expand and explore, experience itself through us. And it can only do that if we continue to step forward and be all that we can be. So
until when we step into courage and expansion and self-love, right? And
start with little steps with
Andrea, I
nothing
love
else.
it.
Good.
May everyone be able to roar with the courage and
Yes.
self-love.
Yeah. Roar and walk in.
Yeah.
So I want to mention my website,
Sure.
Facebook. My website is recoveryourheart.com. I do energy work, remote energy transmissions, remote clearings. Margie and I do many of them together. We've been working together for several years, which is cool if you're not real sure about working with just the male energy. Margie and I make a real good team.
Real good team.
And a safe space. And my Facebook page is at Recover Your Heart. And I'm on Instagram where I post all my writings is roger.recoveryourheart. If anybody's got any questions, you can email me at roger@recoveryourheart.com. That's like really a lot of things to talk about.
It is a lot of things to talk about.
I got to make a list here so I remember them all. Thank you, Margie, and everyone for showing up.
Yeah, it was super fantastic, Roger. And I want to thank you for having the courage to hit the live button.
Yes.
Bye,
Thank you for the
everyone. See you
invitation.
next week.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.